Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to a new screencast lecture. Today's topic is measuring length. Let's get started. First of all, I just kind of want you to think in your head, what are some situations where you measure things in your life? It doesn't have to be length. Anything in your life, but you measure. A common one, of course, is length. So if you ask yourself, how tall are you, or how far away you live from home, you probably don't live very far away from home, but how far away maybe your school is from where you live, those would be measurements of length. Here's a definition of length for you. Length is the measure of distance between 2 points. Sometimes it's referred to as linear distance. Some tools used to measure length include a ruler, a meter stick, or a yardstick. Notice that a meter stick is slightly longer than a yardstick. Here are some different tools that you might want to use, that you may use in your time. So a tape measure. A tape measure is like a ruler, but it's flexible. This could be used for things like measuring the circumference of your head if you're trying to get a new hat, or maybe measuring your waistband for a new pair of pants. This is a folding ruler. Now, this is before kind of like the tape measures that people normally have for construction that you have and you can pull out and then retract. This is something that's pretty neat. This is basically it's like a meter stick or a yardstick, but it's segmented and it can fold. Let's take a look at this clip.
To use a tape measure, but with the folding rule, there's a lot of different advantages to that. You can actually go up on a pipe rack, okay, and get your degree of bend. Now, I might not, maybe it's a 30 degree of bend, maybe it's a 32. I'm not quite sure what the existing rack was doing or the existing bends. So I get my degree of bend here like this.
Now this is pretty neat. If you ever do get a chance to play with one of these things, I know my father had one, and I thought it was a pretty neat tool. I'd like to get another one sometime. This tool is a trundle wheel, and where you'll often see this is maybe construction sites where people are measuring the length of a road or maybe the length of a field. It looks like this. This is a trundle wheel, and what's cool about it is when you push this, notice the wheel spins, and every time the wheel spins, the counter will roll and change the more it spins. That's how you can keep track of how far you've gone. Here's a clip showing the use of a trundle wheel. Here on the trundle wheel, you can see the line right here. If that line goes all the way around, you know that you've traveled 1 yard. Much more up-to-date, more modern tool would be this laser measuring tool, and I have one here as well. And this is kind of neat, so you can use it, and you can see the screen there. And what you can do is, let's say I want to see the distance from here to the ceiling. I press that, and pretty much instantly it gives you an answer. In this case, it's 5 foot 1 inches high from here to the ceiling. A rangefinder is pretty similar, and it's going to be used, you'll often see it maybe in golfing or maybe with archery or hunting. What's going to happen is a laser is going to shoot out and it will bounce off the object and come back. The longer it takes the laser beam to get back from the object to you, the further away the object is. So in this case, you could see this deer is 432 yards away. This works a lot like echolocation, where the bat will send out sonar, a sound wave, and then the time it takes the sound wave to return to the bat will tell the bat how far away that moth is. Pretty nifty. Here's a clip.
A laser, of course, is an acronym. It stands for Light Amplification by Stimulated Emission of Radiation, in case you didn't know. That's why it's in all capital letters. It's a laser, okay? A laser rangefinder is pretty simple. It operates on time of flight principle. It's a very simple equation. Your distance is going to equal your rate times the time, okay? So if you know the rate of the speed of light, which in most circumstances is about 186,280 miles per second, and you know the time, it's going to send a pulse of the laser in a narrow beam towards a target. It's going to measure the time taken by the pulse to be reflected off of the target and return back to the sender.
Okay, that's really cool. Now, this next tool is kind of the opposite. This doesn't measure far distances away. This measures really, really small distances. This is a micrometer, and you can see it measures the distance in between this point and this part right here. So if it's a very, very small object, it can measure it. So in this case, you can see very, very small numbers, very, very small measurements. Let's check out this clip. Now that we've seen some tools that are used to measure length, let's talk about units of length. The SI unit of length, the base unit, is called the meter. And SI, in case you don't know, SI stands for International System, or sometimes it's referred to as the metric system. The reason why it's SI, not IS, is that it's French. So it's like, Le Système International, ho ho ho. Here's some SI prefixes to know. This is certainly not all of them, but these are going to be probably the most common ones you're going to come across. Kilo means 1,000, and centi means 1/100th, and milli means 1/1000th. Okay, and 1/100th written as a decimal is 0.01, and 1/1000th is written as 0.001. Make sure you know those. Now, when we take the prefix and we put it with meter, like kilometer or kilometer, either pronunciation is fine, we get a new unit. So a kilometer would be 1,000 meters, and that would be a long distance as compared to a meter. Again, 1 meter would be 1/1000 of a kilometer, because there's 1,000 meters in a kilometer. 1 centimeter is smaller than a meter. There are 100 centimeters making a meter. So the prefix centi means 1/100th. So that a centimeter is 1/100th of a meter. And then finally, a millimeter, milli, the prefix means 1/1000th. And there are 1,000 millimeters per meter. There are many, many units of length besides the SI units. Just try to think of some different units of length. You might come up with like foot or inch. Here are a whole bunch that you may or may not have heard of. Now, the meter, the kilometer, the light year, the centimeter, the millimeter, those are all SI units. Some of the ones you probably have heard of would be inch, feet, yards, miles. Some of the more odd ones, rod, chain, astronomical unit. Ooh, that sounds sciencey. Furlong, angstrom, cubit, league. Those are all different measurements of units of length. Furlongs. Furlongs are often found at the racetrack. If you've ever been to a horse racetrack, they normally measure the distances that the horses run in a furlong. This is a racetrack, and it is marked off in furlongs. So here's a clip showing a horse race. Now, watch for the posts as the horse runs by. Those are going to be the furlong markers.
So they've got 4.5 furlongs to go, and it's Fyodor the leader, out by 5. In second spot is Kaneko, and they're a good 15 lengths in front of Thankless from Freud's Vale, and Shinebox is last as they run into the whatever turn this is. I can't count that high. It's Fyodor the leader, and he's about 8 lengths in front now. He's 10 lengths in front of Kaneko. A long gap in the field. I can't keep these in the binoculars. Thankless is a mile back in third, and then comes Freud's Vale and Shinebox. But by golly, as they run to the quarter pole, and Fyodor must be a good 20 lengths in front of Kaneko, about 30 lengths farther back to Thankless from Freud's Vale and Shinebox, but at the top of this could win by a furlong.
Here you see that post I was talking about. So the furlong is 1/8 of a mile. This is a 1 mile race, so there'll be 8 furlongs in this mile race. So you just said that the horse could win by an entire furlong, so we'll see.
Fyodor's running down to the furlong pole, and how far in front is he? This is the biggest win I've ever seen at Mountaineer. It might be the biggest win I've ever seen anywhere. It might be the biggest win anybody's ever seen anywhere. Fyodor, I don't know what this could be. This could be, 40? 50? Let's make it 50 lengths over Kaneko, and about 40 lengths back to Thankless. Shinebox and Freud's Vale is going to knock up and finish
If
last.
you never had the chance to get to a horse race track, it's pretty exciting. That's something I really enjoyed when I was a kid. I grew up really close to a horse race track. Pretty fun. Here's another unit of length that really isn't used much anymore, is the cubit. So the cubit is a distance from your elbow to the tip of your finger. So I could measure my desk length in cubits. 1, 2, 3. It's about 3 cubits long for my desk. Rods and chains are units that are used for measuring land, so surveying land. Here's an old surveyor's chain that people would use to mark off people's farms. Leagues. Well, you may have heard of the term league, especially if you've heard of the old novel 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. League was kind of measured off as the distance a man could walk in 1 hour, so however far that would be. The mile was used by the Romans, and this is an old Roman road, picture of an old Roman road on the left, and they would have mile markers. Some of you horse people, you might know this one. A horse's height, it's measured in what? What unit is a horse's height measured in? It's kind of a weird one. It's called hands, so you'd measure a horse in hands. What unit of length should I use to measure the distance across our galaxy? Galaxy's pretty big. We're going to use what's called the light year. Now that is kind of a weird one, because a light year sounds almost like a period of time, but it's not. It's a distance. And it's defined as the distance that light travels in 1 year. That comes out to be about 6 trillion miles. So it's about 186,000 miles per second, roughly. Now, looking at all those different measurements that we just saw, the different measurement units that people have used over time, you can see how a standardized measurement system would be helpful, would be useful for us to decide on. Non-standard measurements can be very, very confusing. They can change depending on who is doing the measurement. An example of that would be the cubit, that distance from your elbow to your fingertip. That would be an example of a non-standard measurement that would change depending on whose cubit you're using. Another example might be if you want to measure length in hand spans. So your hand span might be smaller or larger than my hand span. So here we see a picture with hand span A, B, and C, 3 different sizes of hands. Let's say we wanted to measure this tabletop length in hand spans. Well, person A is going to measure the tabletop length in his hand spans. So here he's got 1, 2, 3, 4. Person A is going to measure the tabletop length as 4 hand spans. Person B is going to do the same thing, measure the tabletop length in his hand span. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 hand spans. Person B is going to measure the length of the tabletop in 6 hand spans. Now we finally have person C. Person C is going to measure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 hand spans. So person C is going to measure the tabletop length as 10 hand spans. 4 hand spans, 6 hand spans, 10 hand spans. Well, who's right? Well, oddly enough, they all are. All 3 of them are right. They are all correct. Even though they are different numbers, they're correct because we are using a non-standard measurement unit. The hand span in this case is not standard. Person A's hand span is larger than person C's hand span, so it takes fewer person A hand spans to get the same length as the 10 hand spans for person C. Since we are using these non-standard measurement units, it can be very confusing to communicate proper measurements. So if I were to build this tabletop to try to repeat it, and somebody told me it's 6 hand spans long, I might have a real difficult time doing that because I don't know whose hand span we used. Mine, person A's, person B's, person C's, makes a big difference, doesn't it? So as we can see, using a standardized measurement system with standardized units would be very helpful. A standardized unit of measure, a meter is an example of that, helps everyone to understand a given measurement. So if I were to say a tabletop is 2 meters long, I can understand that. I can repeat that versus 20 hand spans long. I don't really know what that means. And what's cool about a meter is a meter stick is the same meter of length no matter where I am. So if I'm here in the United States, a meter stick is a meter stick. It's a certain amount of length. If I'm in England, it's the same length. If I'm in France, it's the same length. If I'm in Japan, it's the same length. It doesn't matter. A meter is a standardized unit of measurement that everybody agrees what it is. Now, let's play What unit of length should I use to measure? We're going to use SI units only. So a unit of length to measure the length of a dog. What could be a good SI unit of length to measure the length of a dog? Go ahead. What's your guess? Well, a good choice might be the meter. So this dog is approximately 0.5 meters long, or half of a meter long. The length of a paperclip. Well, I don't really want to use a meter to measure the length of a paperclip. It would be a very, 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 very small number. So I'm going to use a different unit. I'm going to use the centimeter. If I'm going to measure the thickness of a dime, what unit should I use for that? Again, I could use a meter, but it wouldn't be a good choice. It would be a very, very small number. What would be a better unit? Well, a good unit of measure for the thickness of a dime would be a millimeter. In fact, the thickness of a dime is pretty much exactly 1 millimeter in length. So if you ever need to figure out something's length in millimeters, well, you can use a dime to see how thick it is. What about longer distances? So if I want to measure the distance from Dayton, Ohio to Cincinnati, Ohio, what unit of length should I use in SI? Well, I could use millimeters, but it would be an incredibly large number now. It would take a whole lot of millimeters to get to Cincinnati, so I'm going to use a kilometer or a kilometer. Well, I hope you enjoyed playing What Unit Should I Use? Next time we'll take a look at measuring length and how to actually use meter sticks and rulers. Catch you next time. See ya!